This isn't a surprise to anybody who's watched a single second of my channel, but I'm a very big Sonic the Hedgehog collector. For years, I've been collecting pieces of Sonic the Hedgehog merchandise, anything I can really get my hands on, for an affordable price. This is not gonna happen. I absolutely love this franchise, and being able to show my appreciation and dedication to it through physical, tangible items has always just been something I really like to do. And while yes, I love stuff like GE, First 4 figures, and other promotional items and stuff like that, the main bread and butter for me and my collection, and really Sonic the Hedgehog merchandise in general, are the master toy partners. The companies who get the exclusive right to make Sonic the Hedgehog action figures, plushies, playsets, etc. These toys will define generations for Sonic fans, make up childhood memories, carry on a legacy for years to come, not only within the Sonic collecting community, but community in general. For such iconic figures, no matter the quality of them, I think it's important for us to go over the entire history of not just one, not just two, but every master Sonic the Hedgehog toy partner that there has been in the franchise's history. This will date back to ReSaurus in the 90s all the way up until JAKKS Pacific right now in the 2020s. This is going to be a long, fun journey, so sit back, relax, grab a snack and a glass of orange juice, because we're going to be going over the history of every Sonic the Hedgehog toy line. But before we get into that, I'd like to introduce today's sponsor, Skillshare. Wanting to create a product and being able to go through every step the way it's supposed to be done to make sure it's the best it can be takes a lot of time, energy, and passion. You just have to become better at your craft. Honing in on that craft and becoming better is something very important, and learning info from others is also very amazing, and Skillshare is the best place for that. With Skillshare, you can join thousands of classes that will teach you exactly what you need to know about the creative skill you're trying to hone in on. I've been peeking in at a bunch of these, whether that's graphic design, writing, and visual effects. I've been on here a lot more than I'd like to admit. I've been loving this class by Patricia Reiners called Designing for the Future UI/UX Prototyping. It's been very helpful. Classes like these work really well. It's worked out for me personally very great, and I'm so happy I signed up. The first 1,000 people who use the link in my description will receive a 1-month free trial to Skillshare Premium. So what are you waiting for? Click that link and join Skillshare today. You guys ever heard this little game called Sonic Adventure? It is the game that launched Sonic into the 3D landscape. Alright, kind of. But I can't have you guys talking bad about my boy Sonic 3D Blast over here. I mean, look at him. I mean, look at this stupid fan. Whether you like the game or not, you can't deny the influence it had. It brought in millions of fans across the world. It was the highest selling game for the Sega Dreamcast. It was later ported to the GameCube and PC under Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. In 2010 it was ported to Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Steam, but also it had multiple adaptations in different forms of media. Comic book arcs from Archie Comics and Sonic the Comic, but also a 6-episode arc in Sonic X based around the game. Needless to say, Sonic Adventure was very popular, and I still think it's safe to say that Sonic Adventure is still one of the most popular Sonic games to this day. So this being Sonic's big jump into 3D, you would want the word to get out. You would want promotion. So, that's what Sega did. There was a giant marketing campaign around this game. I don't think you guys understand how big this thing was. I wouldn't know either, because back in 1999, I was a sperm cell, but after looking deeper into it, there was a lot of merchandise. And one of the most notorious pieces of merchandise were the Sonic Adventure ReSaurus action figures. ReSaurus was an American toy company that was founded back in 1993, but then shut its doors shortly after in 2001. But maybe it's a good thing that ReSaurus went out of business, because if you go on their website now, you can find really cool poems. Hell yeah! They made a bunch of high quality figures for different franchises, such as Street Fighter, Crash Bandicoot, my beloved Speed Racer, and of course, Sonic the Hedgehog. When I was a kid, it was a dream to have these figures. I didn't even play Sonic Adventure. I didn't think I would ever get my hands on that game until I got this weird Dreamcast collection for the Xbox 360. After watching a bunch of my favorite Sonic YouTubers use them for their videos, I really wanted them myself. And I could have gone with some Jazwares Sonic action figures from Toys R Us for Christmas, but no, I had to go above and beyond and make my mom spend over $100 on Sonic Adventure figures. They have a very unique design, and I can tell that ReSaurus took a lot of inspiration from Sonic Adventure artwork. Let's go ahead and dive into the figures, starting with Series 1. Now I should mention that I own a decent amount of these figures, but I am missing a majority of their accessories, so we're going to be looking at images and videos from online. But I think it's important to look at the packaging before we dive into the figures themselves. The front of the box displays Sonic and his accessories inside of bubble-carded packaging. It gives you your character-specific sticker at the top left, and then info about what you're getting at the bottom. It says the character's name along with the accessories that come inside, such as the golden ring and action figure base. The Sonic Adventure logo displayed right above the figure, and then at the very top left corner you get the ReSaurus and Sega logo. Another really cool addition is that there's some 2D artwork from Sonic Adventure at the top right corner. There's also some artwork of Sonic on the card, but you can barely see it because everything is covering it up. The back of the box is really cool as well. The top left corner says Sonic Adventure action figures, which I'm glad it says because I had no idea that's what I was buying before. An advertisement for the ReSaurus website, and also saying that you can get your free Sonic sticker that's on the front of the card. The ReSaurus and Sega logo again, photos of all the figures that are currently available, including the Sonic that you just bought, Knuckles, Tails, and then an 11-inch deluxe figure. Some 2D artwork of Sonic at the bottom right, and then at the bottom left some legal info. I really like the packaging to these figures. It shows off everything you need, it's displayed nicely, the back of the box is very simple, it just overall looks really good. Now this is much better compared to like Tomy's packaging. I mean, come on guys, honestly, like, what is this? But it's still packaging no matter what way you put it. It's relatively the same for all of the figures, it just says their character's specific name, it gives their sticker, but of course there's Series 2. It's pretty much the exact same, except the ReSaurus logo is a bit bigger, it says Series 2, and now the color of the cards are green instead of purple. In my opinion, the Series 2 cards are way better, minus the green color. I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of green, kill me. It now features 2D artwork of Sonic skiing, but now it includes a bio talking all about Sonic Adventure. All the figures are lined up much better than in Series 1, and at the bottom left it shows some franchises that ReSaurus has. I'm sorry guys, I talk about packaging way too much. I think this is a problem of mine. I should talk about the figures themselves. Yeah, let's go ahead and dive into the figures themselves. I'm sorry for talking about the packaging for so long. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. I love the Sonic ReSaurus figures. They're so unique and different than normal Sonic figures, they just stand out so much. As I mentioned earlier, it seems that they base their figures on artwork of Sonic Adventure, so maybe that's why they look the way they do. Sega sent some photos and they decided to base their figures off of those. And it proved well for the most part. The Wave 1 figures boast around 7 points of articulation per figure. Some may vary, like Tails, who has articulation in his tails, but they're rather limited compared to the Jazwares Sonic line. They stand at around 4 inches, which would make it the biggest if Toy Island wasn't a thing. Those figures were pretty big, around 5 inches tall. But when you look at figures from Jazwares, Tomy, and now JAKKS Pacific, they are slightly larger. The paint on these guys is really good. I've heard almost no complaints about quality control when it comes to these figures. Sculpt-wise, of course, it comes down to the design, and the design of the figures, as we all know, is quite strange. But, of course, that adds charm, and it's always good to have charm when it comes to action figures. You don't want everything looking the exact same, which is unfortunately what you can get a lot of now. They're pretty durable, even though there is this video out on the internet. Go ahead and feast your eyes upon this.
Hello everybody, my name is Coke Eagle Boom.
My god, what did they do to you? Also, is this guy in the back? Is he pooping? But don't worry kids, if your Sonic ReSaurus figure breaks, all you gotta do is...
You're gonna need some tape.
And then boom, your very valuable Sonic the Hedgehog action figure is good as new. Unlike Wave 2, Wave 1 didn't come with any crazy accessories, outside of rings. They came with their own stands, which let me say, the stands are a little strange. It's very hard to get your figures to stay on there and find a good place to put them on. Thankfully the Sonic and Tails one are somewhat easy, but I cannot get Knuckles to stay on his base to save my life. They come with a rod to put your ring onto, which connects into the base, and it makes displaying the figure nicer. Unfortunately, I got these when I was a child, so I'm missing all of my accessories, even though I bought these in box. But yeah, I like the accessories, and the stickers are a nice addition too. But those three weren't the only Sonic figures to come out in Wave 1. There was another figure, I mentioned it earlier, the 11-inch collectible deluxe figure. This is the rarest figure in Series 1. It's very hard to come by, and I haven't seen a lot of collectors who have this guy. There are actually 2 releases of him. One where he talks, and one where he doesn't. It's quite strange. He's actually the tallest Sonic figure to date, I'm pretty sure, as he stands around 11 and 12 inches tall, while some Jazwares Sonic figures, such as their 10-inch Modern and Classic Sonic, stand at 10 inches tall. There was a rumored 12-inch Knuckles to come out, but it never did, as we all know, which really sucks because I really would have liked to get one of those. But we'll get into cancelled and rumored figures later. Let's go ahead and dive into Series 2. Series 2 of the ReSaurus Sonic figures released in the year 2000. The line consisted of Amy, Big, Skiing Sonic, and E102 Gamma. These figures are much more rare than Wave 1, as they were released closer to the end of ReSaurus' run as a company. They were being released only a couple months before they went under. I really like this line. They decided to add an extra figure in there of Sonic, and I like that. I think more toy companies should do that. If you're gonna make another Sonic figure, make it a variant. Change it up a bit. Change his design, add a couple accessories. That's really cool. I like that ReSaurus did that. And speaking of accessories, all these characters have accessories. Other than their ring, Wave 1 didn't have any accessories. But Wave 2, oh, they have accessories for all the figures. Amy has her Pico Pico hammer, Big has his fishing rod, Skiing Sonic has his skis and those things, and Gamma has his accessories too. It's a really cool addition. I really wish more Sonic the Hedgehog action figures would have accessories, but I doubt we'll get as high quality mainline Sonic action figures like we did with these. They all come with the base and rod to hold your ring up, just like Wave 1 had, but this time their bases are much better. See, Series 1 stands, I don't know the proper term for it, but the stands were risen or high. They weren't flat, and it made it hard for your figures to stand up on them. But with Series 2, that's no problem. They're completely flat, so it's easy for your characters to stand up on them. Unlike Series 1, Series 2 didn't come with an 11-inch figure. Like I mentioned earlier, there was an 11-inch Knuckles that was supposed to come out at some point, supposedly, but it wasn't specified whether it was supposed to come out in Series 1, Series 2, or maybe even in Series 3. We'll never know, but at least we did get 4 separate action figures for Series 2. Now, it's really good that ReSaurus was able to get out all the playable characters from Sonic Adventure, made into their own action figures. But this line could have been so much more. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. That's right. Now, some of you guys are probably intrigued or in a clinical state of depression thinking about what could have been. And trust me, I'm both of them. Can you imagine if we got figures of Shadow, Rouge, Eggman, and Supersonic? That's such a cool lineup. But why didn't we get these figures? Well, it's something I mentioned before. ReSaurus went out of business in 2001, a couple months before Sonic Adventure 2 came out, and unfortunately, the figures never even got to the sculpting process. All we have are these 2 pictures of Shadow and Rouge that were sent by Sega to ReSaurus. Just imagine if we got these figures. Series 3 would easily be the best, but that's not it. Check this out. Yeah, ReSaurus was planning a 10th anniversary set. Now, if I'm gonna be honest, this is pretty weak. A recolored Sonic, re-releasing Tails and Knuckles, and a repainted Gamma. E102 Alpha isn't even in character in Sonic Adventure. I think this shows that ReSaurus was running out of money. Using old stock and repackaging it, yeah, I'm glad this didn't actually come out, even though I'm sure they'd be pretty valuable nowadays being 10th anniversary products. But one more thing. Here's a statue of the 11-inch Sonic. If you look very closely at the base, it says Sega Dreamcast Championships. This was given to a winner at a Sega Dreamcast Championship event. Somebody in the world has this thing. Oh man, what I would do to have this in my collection. Here's something else. What if they released a Series 4? Gee, it's almost like they could make a figure of Sonic with a very distinct set of shoes. Or maybe Tails in his mech? The possibilities are endless when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog action figures. Usually Sonic the Hedgehog master toy partners keep the license for around 5 to 6 years. But unfortunately, ReSaurus only had it for technically 2, even though they had it until they went out of business in 2001. The last products to come out were in the year 2000. They could have made so many other things, maybe even plushes. They did that with Crash Bandicoot, why not Sonic? But yeah, if ReSaurus held onto the license, maybe we could have got a Sonic Heroes line. Maybe even a Shadow the Hedgehog line. We could talk about what could have been, but unfortunately, ReSaurus is gone. While ReSaurus was decaying, Sega handed the license over to Toy Island. They started making their own Sonic Adventure action figures, and everything went on from there. ReSaurus had a very short run, but they had a lot of potential. Not only in their Sonic line, but in all of their toy lines, they were very high quality products. I really love my Sonic ReSaurus figures, and one of my goals as a collector is to get all of them mint and package. ReSaurus deserved to go on for a little longer, but I can see why they shut down. The merchandise that they made was very high quality and they sold it for a really cheap price, so they probably weren't making a lot of money back. They could have made so many cool toys, but it is what it is. I always look back on the Sonic Adventure toy line that they made. Even if they're extremely expensive nowadays, they deserve to be. They're pieces of history for Sonic. They're some of the best Sonic products out there. They usually range from $80 to $150 for a mint and package figure. If you want them out of box, they usually will range from $30 to $50, and if you want a really crappy one, then maybe you'll get one from $20 under. These figures have stood the test of time. It's the very first Sonic toy line, and it's been very hard to top. Some could argue that Jazwares made a better toy line in their 3-inch figures, and while that is a much more complete set, I'll still always look back on these. In conclusion, the ReSaurus Sonic Adventure toy line was a short-lived, well-made, charming collection of Sonic the Hedgehog action figures. I love them to death and they hold a very special place in my heart. Maybe one day I can own all of these mint and package, only time will tell. Shortly after the fall of ReSaurus, Sega wasted no time finding a brand new master toy partner. Sonic Adventure was still hot, so they needed new toys to promote it. In comes Toy Island. Toy Island is an American toy company that was founded back in 1992 and closed its doors I don't know when. We know their last toy line was in 2007, but we don't know when the company actually closed its doors. Now maybe some of you are asking, well, what if they're not closed? Well, let's be clear. Their very last toy line in their archive was from 2007, and they have had no presence at any toy fairs in recent history. But we also know that they closed their doors because the company by the name of Technosaurus changed its name to Toy Island in 2016. They produced figures for different franchises such as RoboCop, Terminator, and The Mummy? Yeah, if you guys don't know, Toy Island never had a really good lineup of licensees. Sonic was next to the last license that they had. As I mentioned earlier, their last toy line was Universal Monsters in 2007. Sonic X was the last license before that in 2005. If you go on the Toy Island archive, you can see a very lackluster lineup. But they still were a toy company and they did produce Sonic the Hedgehog action figures. Now I think it's safe to say that this is by far the most overlooked toy line out of any Sonic toy line. ReSaurus is renowned and praised as one of the best Sonic toy line, if not the best. Jazwares was later considered to be the best with all the variety of different items that they had, with superposers, 5-inch figures, the wide range of characters that they had for their 3-inch line, 10-inch figures, a bunch of other stuff. Tomy made some of the best Sonic plushes to date, and also put out some pretty cool figures as well. But Toy Island, where do we begin? The most overlooked and underappreciated Sonic toy line in history. What do I think of them? What did they release? So, let's take a look at the history of the Sonic the Hedgehog Toy Island toy line. Let's go. Now, like I said, they started off making figures for Sonic Adventure, the most recent piece of Sonic media to come out at the time. But unlike ReSaurus, they only made one wave of Sonic Adventure action figures, most likely due to Sonic Adventure 2 being right around the corner. So there's only one basic wave of action figures opposed to two like ReSaurus had, but this wave does include more figures. It has Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Big, and Robotnik. The figure, like pretty much all Sonic figures, is displayed in bubble-carded packaging, with the Sonic Adventure logo and some art with the title Action Figures underneath it. The character-specific name and artwork at the bottom. Back of the box is more of the same, just showing off the other figures that you can collect, with the Sega and Toy Island logos at the bottom right, and saying that they're fully articulated figures, which is a stretch. I'm not sure if fully articulated is the right thing to say. And also a promotion for Sonic Adventure, saying that it's only on the Sega Dreamcast. The two notable missing characters are Amy and Gamma, but in their place is Eggman. I'm not really sure why they chose to go with Eggman opposed to an Amy or Gamma, a figure for Sonic to fight potentially. But anyways, these guys aren't the greatest. These figures are 5 inches tall, so there should be less room for error here. I understand that technology wasn't the greatest at the time, so figures weren't too accurate to how they should look, but at the same time, they could have done a little bit better with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in particular. Big and Eggman look pretty decent, looking very similar to other action figures that would come later down the line. But Sonic, Knuckles, and especially Tails have really goofy faces. If there's one thing I can say that Toy Island has done better than any other Sonic toy line, are the accessories. Every character has character-specific accessories, as well as Chaos Emeralds and rings with every figure. Sonic has a snowboard, Tails has a Chow, as well as having automated rotatable tails, but at the same time, Tails is by a long shot the worst figure in the line. Knuckles has the worst accessory, just having an item box to hold your rings. Big has a fishing pole, as well as Froggy, and Eggman has a Kiki figure, the first badnik to ever get an actual action figure. And also Kiki comes with a bomb. You're essentially getting two figures in one. Yeah, in terms of the actual figure itself and also accessories, Dr. Robotnik won by a long shot. Yeah, I see why this toy line is severely overlooked compared to others. It's undoubtedly the worst, but still, I'm kind of nostalgic about the figures, even though I did grow up on the Jazwares more. I'm not sure if it was a lack of funds, I'm not sure if they were just a lazy toy company, but yeah, these were not the best. But that's not all they produced for Sonic Adventure. It seems that they took a note out of ReSaurus' book and doubled it. That's right, they have big talking figures. The mini line includes Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and another Sonic with a re-sculpted head. Once again, they don't look the greatest, as they're just bigger versions of the figures that already released. Each figure comes with two lines, Sonic being, "Oh yeah, this is happening," "Ready to roll, champ, let's go." Tails is, "We did it," as well as, "Come on Sonic, we need to get busy." Knuckles is, "Time to make a house call," and "Whoa, that was incredible. I've never seen anything like it." Is it just me, or does each figure's lines sound a little sexual? They all have stands that correlate to the color of the characters, and that's pretty much it. They're nice additions, and it's cool that they included Tails and Knuckles, and hopefully I can pick these up one day, as I really love Sonic Adventure and love to get more merchandise. But we can't forget about the legend. Yes, that's right. Maybe some of you guys have been waiting for it. The Sonic Adventure Bendy figures. These were little guys who could bend around. You couldn't really put them in too many poses as they're just really little, but they're still pretty neat nonetheless. The first box set included Sonic, Knuckles, Amy, and Tails. They are also sold on single cards, but the box set did come with Chaos Emeralds. But Big and Eggman weren't put in box sets, so you had to get them in separate releases. Now here's the coolest thing of all. There was somebody else planned. Yep. You're thinking of him, E102 Gamma. In this promotional image, you can see a little prototype E102 Gamma who's looking pretty weird. Gamma has really thin limbs, and there's not too much you can do with him. I can understand why they got rid of him, but honestly, for a little bendy figure, just throw some plastic out there, and people would buy it. It's Sonic. Also, this guy would be very rare nowadays. It sucks that he never saw the light of day, as we don't get a lot of Gamma merch at all, but at least we did get the bendy figures, which are nostalgic to a lot of people, and they're unique. Now, those are all the Sonic Adventure action figures that Toy Island did, but that's not all that they made. Let me show you. Now, to my audience under 25, I know what you love. School! Of course, everybody loves school. Whether you're in elementary, middle, high, or college, everybody loves going to learn. So if you want to be the coolest kid in the classroom, you'll pull up with some Sonic Adventure school supplies. Let me show you exactly what you need. First things first, they made a Sonic the Hedgehog tape measure, a Tails stapler, a Knuckles pencil sharpener, and of course, a big tape dispenser. I'd say these are necessities to put inside of your pencil case. But the party doesn't stop there. You have a Sonic 3D eraser set. It includes Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Big, and a Chow. You know, when people are writing you notes asking if you want to hang out outside of school or go on a date, you're going to need to erase any errors that you make in your letter with your Sonic the Hedgehog eraser. Let's not forget about the school supply I never leave the house with, my Sonic Adventure gel pens. That's not it. There are also desk organizers of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, rulers, scissors, glue sticks, as well as colored pencils. If there's anything I missed, make sure to let me know in the comments below, as there seems to be a lot, but I think I got it all. Anyways, that's all that Toy Island did for Sonic Adventure. Outside of a couple canceled plushes and the bendy figure of Gamma, nothing really got snubbed. It was a good run. They put out a lot of stuff. Definitely more than ReSaurus, more variety of things. But where did they go from beyond there? Well, I'm pretty sure you guys know. Oh, Sonic X. personally one of my favorite pieces of Sonic media. A lot of nostalgia contributes towards that, but it's safe to say that a lot of 2000s kids would not be Sonic fans if it wasn't for this show. It was very popular, and it's why I'm a Sonic fan today. Now I should note that Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Advance released before this show aired, so there was a golden opportunity for either repackaged figures or brand new figures. I have no idea why they didn't make Sonic Adventure 2 figures. ReSaurus was planning on it, why didn't Toy Island make some? But anyways, after a 2-year gap of the master toy partner of Sonic not making figures for him, do they come back swinging, or do they make the exact same things that they did before? That's right, the figures were repackaged. And to top it all off, they took away accessories. All they have now are Chaos Emeralds, but the thing is, how can you look at Tails and then look at Sonic X Tails and think that they look similar? Yeah, the line includes all of the characters that were in the Sonic Adventure line, now just in Sonic X packaging with less accessories. Now, I just want to get this out of the way. Merchandise doesn't make me upset. These are pieces of plastic, and if they honestly get on your nerves, are you okay? It was just a lazy choice, but thankfully, Toy Island fixed that by adding keychains! That's right, they re-released the figures again, but this time they have their own character-specific keychain, except for Eggman, he comes with cheese. Yeah, I'm obviously joking. It's nice that Toy Island included something extra because they did remove some stuff from Sonic Adventure. Is it as cool as the Sonic Adventure toys? Nope, but at the same time, it's a better addition than just having Chaos Emeralds. Alright, but seriously, Toy Island did make brand new sculpts finally after 3 years and released action figures with Chaos Emeralds. Now this is a different action figures with Chaos Emeralds, as they are actual Sonic X figures opposed to just repackaged ones. The line includes Sonic, Shadow, Cream, Rouge, and Chris! Sonic is a brand new sculpt and they all look relatively consistent to each other, similar to how they look in the show. Also, it's the first Cream, Rouge, and Chris Thorndike figures. Also, the last Cream, Rouge, and Chris Thorndike figures. Cream comes with cheese because, they're a package duo. And I honestly like these figures. They're nothing crazy as they're just standard Toy Island Sonic figures, so they don't have a lot of articulation. Big technology advanced over those couple of years to where the figures could look accurate to how they should look. Now to be clear, we don't have anything to base Cream, Rouge, and Chris off of, as I don't think we'll ever get a Chris figure ever again, but I think it's safe to say that Cream and Rouge may come down the pipeline in the future with JAKKS Pacific. But we've received plenty of Sonic and Shadow figures, and obviously they're not so accurate, but they're obviously being based off of Sonic X artwork. I don't own a single one of these figures as they're very expensive nowadays, mainly for being the first figures of Rouge, Cream, and well, Chris is pretty cheap, but it's nice that Toy Island finally got around to making brand new sculpts after many years of waiting. Toy Island didn't stop there. There were plenty of other things to come. I'm very nostalgic about this line, as I own a decent amount of the figures in it. Megabot Series 1. It was a set that included 6 figures, and 5 of the figures you were able to build into a bigger Megabot. By the way, Megabot, also known as RBX DO5, only was in the pilot for Sonic X, nothing else. I guess they got a copy of the first episode and based everything off of that. The only other figure to not have a Megabot piece is a Sonic, which comes with the robot, as well as the letter X for the show's logo. They also re-released the set, but this time they removed Amy and put in another Sonic. You don't want female representation, do you, Toy Island? I see why you went out of business, haha! It also might be due to the incorrect color of her arms, you never know. Yeah, I own a decent selection of them. I own 2 of the Sonics, the Knuckles, and the Shadow is still in box on my wall. I should also mention that I own the Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman of the original Sonic X line. I didn't point out that I own a couple of those. But yeah, these are decent. They're brand new sculpts and they look much more accurate to how Sonic X characters look. Not necessarily how Sonic characters look as a whole, but for the show, they're pretty accurate. Yeah, Shadow looks a little funky, but they're charming and I enjoy having them. They're smaller and they do look more accurate to how Sonic characters usually should look. And thankfully, Tails finally looks halfway decent. No JAKKS Pacific Tails, but he looks pretty good. Yeah, Toy Island made some big improvements. Let's see what else they were. Oh god. The first strange toy line choices that Toy Island went with were Space Fighter Sonic figures. This line included Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, Tails, and also Mistlewrist, which is an interesting choice. Fun fact, Mistlewrist never was in space, and the characters never wore any of these in space in the show. Yeah, this was a pretty big money grab. They slapped some armor onto onto them, and boom, there you go. You can sell new toys. They're whatever, they're really inoffensive. I honestly wouldn't mind having these just to add to the collection. And Sonic X is a big part of my childhood, but I can acknowledge that these aren't the greatest toys. The next wave, Metal Force, is an interesting one too. I only own one figure, the Sonic one, and this one is simply just metal outfits. Nothing crazy, nothing brand new. I can admire the space fighters in some way for adding more stuff, but here they didn't do too much, which honestly makes the figures look a little better. They just made new molds and slapped the heads of the old figures onto them. They all come with staffs and swords, and yeah, same as last one, they're inoffensive, and I wouldn't mind finishing off the set someday. But of course, there are more re-releases. That's right, Toy Island wasn't done. They decided to bring over the 10-inch figures, one of Sonic talking and one where he doesn't, and also Tails and Knuckles, but instead of them talking, they're just big figures. Obviously, the voice for the Sonic figure was Ryan Drummond, but now Jason Griffith was voicing Sonic, so they're just sound effects now. Also, the infamous Bendy figures are back, all of which are pretty much the same, except they added a Shadow Bendy. Also, they changed up a couple packs, a repackage of the original, and another one where they add a Golden Sonic, one with Eggman and another one with Shadow. Now, these next two products are extremely popular, but not because of Toy Island. Although they did start the line, somebody else improved on them, who we'll get to in the next episode. But we're talking about the Sonic and Shadow Superposers. That's right, they started the Sonic Superposers. Not only the articulation and size of them, but also the name Superposers. These guys are pretty okay. The plastic's very cheap and the paint is all over the place, especially with the eyes. But honestly, I kinda have respect for Toy Island for starting these. I'd really love to get Toy Island Superposers, as they're the very first Superposers ever. I should also note that there was a scrap Tails and Knuckles Superposer planned, but as we know, those eventually came out under a different company. But yeah, I think it's really cool that they started the Superposers, and being one of the last things that Toy Island ever made, it's kind of a cool thing to go out on. Honestly, looking back on all of the Sonic X stuff they made, it was pretty okay. They're not very articulated and they don't look that accurate to how Sonic characters look, but they have a charm to them. I'm very nostalgic about them, and they're a part of Sonic history. They also made the only Rouge and Cream figure, so that's something. But they made some figures for the show, and if a kid wants to play with toys and create his own adventures, they're perfect for that. That's all of Sonic X stuff. Now, you might be saying, why aren't you closing out the video yet? Why are you talking? Shut up, Ricardo. Well, there's one more thing. In Toy Island's last year of their contract, it was the Sonic the Hedgehog 15th anniversary, and say what you will about it, but it still was a milestone. So, there was a very complicated product that came out, a 15th anniversary Sonic statue, and there were only 2,500 of them made. Now this thing went through a complicated history. It was cancelled, then uncancelled, and then made available through a totally different method to purchase. Now this isn't a Sonic 06 statue, it's actually a Sonic X statue. If you look at this promotional image right here, yeah, that's Sonic X 15th anniversary. For the longest time I thought this was based around Sonic 06, but I guess not. The only way to purchase this thing was through a phone number. That's right, if you saw an ad and you got the phone number, boom, it's yours. But there was no website to buy this thing in the year 2006. But anyways, it's nothing crazy. It's no first four figures, it's its own thing. And I honestly like it, even if it's cheaper. I'm honestly kind of nostalgic about the 15th anniversary because of 06 and Sonic X. But yeah, it's definitely the most high quality thing Toy Island ever put out, and it's good that that was its final product. As I mentioned, the end of Sonic and Toy Island was a mystery. We don't know when Toy Island ended, all we know is that they lost the license around 2006, 2007. As I said in the beginning of the video, this is by far the most overlooked, unappreciated Sonic toy line. And honestly, for good reason. There's so many other toy lines that have standout products, but Toy Island really doesn't. They've made some of the wackiest stuff, but honestly, wacky doesn't necessarily make for the best toy line. I own a lot of them, and I love Sonic Adventure. I love Sonic X. It's just ReSaurus made better Sonic Adventure figures, and Sonic X didn't really receive the best treatment, as the actual Sonic X line was very small. They'll go down in the history books as the second Sonic Master toy partner with the most complicated history and somewhat longest run. And their legacy, if you'd like to call that, carried on somewhere else. When I was a wee little lad, I stumbled onto this little website called Toy Wiz. If you guys don't know what Toy Wiz is, good. It's an extremely overpriced toy website that carries Sonic the Hedgehog items. You know, it's the website that has $180 Shadow the Hedgehog action figure that is it's probably not worth it. But anyways, somehow little Ricardo, probably under 10 years old, was able to not only find Sonic the Hedgehog on a website by typing it in, but find a website, period. I mean, how did I do that? But that was my very first run-in with Sonic the Hedgehog merchandise, period. I never knew that there were action figures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I remember flipping out, not knowing that these were a thing, and that there were so many of them. I knew I'd find them one day, but then I walk into a Toys R Us, and there they are. A giant wall full of Sonic the Hedgehog toys by none other than Jazwares. If you guys don't know what Jazwares is and you're watching this video, are you okay? Either you're a brand new Sonic fan or you've been sleeping under a rock for a long time, or you just don't keep up with merchandise. Jazwares is by far the most well-known Sonic toy line out there, and probably the most acclaimed. And for good reason. They had a wide variety of selections from 3 inches to 5 inches to 10 inches of a bunch of different characters, specifically their 3-inch line. They made game-specific figures, they came out consistently. It was a good time to be a Sonic fan. But we're not just going to go over this briefly. We're going to talk about this in depth, as we've always done. If you guys are just starting off with this episode, I recommend that you stop this video, watch the first 2, and then come back. And if you don't want to do that, then just continue watching this, please. That'd be great. Anyways, we're going to be talking about the history of the Sonic the Hedgehog Jazwares toy line. Let's go. Jazwares is an American toy company founded back in 1997 in Sunrise, Florida. That's right, it is an American toy company. The past 2 companies are dead. They no longer exist. They're no longer making toys, but Jazwares is still going, even if they're making some questionable products. Over the course of their history, they've had toy lines such as Mega Man, Adventure Time, Regular Show, Minecraft, and of course, Sonic the Hedgehog. But where did it begin? Where did it all start? Well, it started kind of strange. If you watched the last video about Toy Island, you know that I said that their legacy carried on somewhere else, and that somewhere else was Jazwares. Yep, Jazwares re-released Toy Island figures. Yep, nothing original, not their own stuff. They just used the molds from Toy Island and called it a Jazwares figure. When this was going on, a lot of people were upset. It was pretty lazy. I mean, you're gonna kick off your Sonic toy line like this? Just re-releasing old stuff from a toy line that came before you? Almost 10 years ago? Now, I think the only exception here was Superposers, but those weren't the first things that they put out. It was the Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles figures that they made. But this time, they stripped it back even more. Toy Island already stripped back the accessories of those figures enough, and then Jazwares took everything away. Now it's just the figures themselves. And let's not forget that these guys are pretty ugly. And when I say that the Superposers are an exception, is that they actually improved the Superposers. They had better plastic, better paint jobs, they're slightly higher quality, and that can be appreciated. But still, no new original products at all? Well, the short answer is not really. It might be crazy to say this, but I think Jazwares had the worst start out of any Sonic toy line. Just re-releasing old product? That's horrible. ReSaurus and Toy Island before them created brand new toys to start their line, but Jazwares just took old stuff from Toy Island? I mean, that sucks. Now you might be saying, well, what came after that? Surely there was something different, and yes, there was something different. Feast your eyes upon one of the most controversial things of the year 2008. Super Sonic and Super Shadow. Yeah, they took Sonic and Shadow and just repainted them. Oh, Jazwares was really annoying back in the day. Yeah, this was actually very controversial. I remember seeing a lot of people in my school talk about it. I remember seeing people on the internet talk about it. What a lazy choice. I get it's easy, but I mean, that doesn't look like Super Sonic. And yeah, Super Shadow got a lot less flack, but he's a repaint still. It's just so happens that Shadow always has his spikes up, so he always looks like he's super if you paint him yellow. Can you guys believe it? The second person in the world talking bad about Jazwares? Yeah, this won't last for long, because thankfully, there was the year 2009. Jeez, not a lot was going on in 2008. Good times. Now, I also should mention that Jazwares was planning on re-releasing Bendy figures. Yes, the Toy Island Bendy figures. That thing didn't go through. Thankfully, there was one ray of sunshine in this pit of darkness. That being the 5-inch Sonic the Werehog figure. That's right, that came out in 2008! It's weird that this was the only original thing that Jazwares made, but hey, I mean, at least we got something for 2008 that wasn't god-awful. I'm sorry, I'm being a little harsh. Those figures aren't the worst things in the world, but they're no Jazwares past 2008. But yeah, the Werehog was really cool. I have the Werehog. I've always liked the Werehog figure. It's a really good one. It was released to coincide with Sonic Unleashed, and I think that Jazwares did a really great job for their first figure. It showed a lot of promise, but in terms of 2008, that's all we got. But thankfully, there's 2009, the best year in American history, baby. 2009 saw the birth of so many amazing Sonic the Hedgehog toys. From this point forward, there are no re-releases, all original products. First being the amazing stuff that came out in the summer. We got a solid set of a Werehog re-release, a normal Sonic the Hedgehog figure, a Sonic and the Black Knight figure. Now, these are good. Don't get me wrong, these are really good, but they're not as good as the ones that came after them. Minus the Werehog, who didn't really get any merchandise after 2008. This GE plush happened. The others got different versions of their own figure, which look much better. And that's because Jazwares had more experience with the figures and were able to make better versions of them. These still have a charm to them, and they look really good for what they are, and much better than some figures that we get nowadays. But I don't think Jazwares had any idea what would happen with their next release. The next line that they put out. They didn't know that this next line would go on to become the most popular Sonic toy line in history. Yep, that's right, we're talking about the Sonic the Hedgehog 3-inch figures. If you were a Sonic fan in the late 2000s, early 2010s, or, well, heck, even now, it's impossible that you have not seen these guys, or at least have heard the legends of them. This line had a wide variety of characters, which made it super desirable for collectors. They were small, but they were detailed. They were used on the internet for so many different things, for pictures and stop motion videos, in reviews and unboxings. These were the hot topic of Sonic the Hedgehog merchandise back in the day. The 3-inch line could honestly get its own video, but we're here to talk about all of Jazwares, and this being a video all about Jazwares won't stop me from talking about every figure that was released. So let's go ahead and talk about the 3-inch figures that were released in 2009. Some are to be specific, but there were only 3 figures released under the 3-inch line at that point, but technically 4, and we'll talk about that really soon. But first, let's talk about the figures. First, there's Sonic, Black Knight Sonic, and Tails'. Tails? Tails is plural, right? That's right, there were 2 Tails released, and Jazwares was surprisingly good about listening to fans in the beginning. I'm gonna go ahead and get Tails out of the way. The big thing is that he was not able to rotate his tails, and a lot of fans were upset about that. I mean, he's Tails. His tail should spin around and move. They were just stationary, with joints in the legs, arms, and a bunch of other areas, but he couldn't move his tails. They eventually recalled it and then re-released it with rotatable tails. I remember this making a lot of people happy that they decided to fix this. The Sonic and the Black Knight Sonic are relatively the same figure. It's just obviously Sonic with a new gauntlet on, and he comes with a sword. I think all of these look really good. For as small as they are, the paint jobs look really good, and sure, they're kind of off because of the limbs, so they look kind of strange, but they're still very accurate, and I love the way that they look. But that's not quite it. There's one more thing that came out in the summer in terms of 3-inch. They can't just have Sonic and Tails. You have to have that other guy. That's right. Clear Blue Sonic, baby! Nah, I'm joking. Clear Blue Sonic was a thing, yes. It came in a comic book pack with Knuckles. That's right, the very first comic book pack came out in summer of 2009, and it was Clear Blue Sonic and Knuckles. This is really cool. I absolutely love the comic book packs. I always have. And sure, Clear Blue Sonic is interesting. It's a very 2008 Jazwares thing to do. I still enjoy it and it has a charm to it. And it's also great to have a Knuckles figure, although it's weird that they made him an exclusive to a comic book pack. They did an absolutely amazing job with summer's 3-inch figures. Now we're still in that hot, steamy summer. You know, you're at the pool chilling with the little shawty with your Sonic figure. That's just 5 and 3-inch. Is there anything else? Well, yeah, there's something else that not a lot of people remember. And maybe for good reason, but I don't know, they have a lot of charm. Oh, you already know what I'm talking about. We're talking about those stupid juvies. Yeah, these were interesting. In a good or bad way, I don't know. These little juvies were very mildly articulated, off-model versions of Sonic characters. There was Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, and a Metal Sonic that was exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con, and there was also a Werehog. These only got produced for a very limited amount of time. They never got a re-release in any future year. You could find these on eBay nowadays for like maybe anywhere from $30 to $50. Maybe Metal Sonic will push you a little harder. My stupid ass took it out of the box when I got it for my birthday one year. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of these. I don't think they're atrocious. I've seen a lot of people really hate on these, but I don't think they're bad. I think they have some charm to them, but I can understand why this line didn't continue with any other characters. I just thought I'd mention that these guys came out. Yeah, it's something. Now, the good old Superposers got a lot of good treatment, I'd say, for 2009. There were two amazing releases, those being Knuckles and Tails. They look fantastic. Previously planned with Toy Island, now we're with Jazwares, and they look much better. But there was also this clear blue Sonic Superposer, which I'm not even gonna lie, I kind of want this thing. It's so ridiculous. But yeah, the Superposers are amazing. They look fantastic. And also, there were these 10-inch figures. I thought the 10-inch figures are amazing. I own a lot of them. That Metal Sonic is amazing, and I'm not just saying that because I spent a lot of money on it. It's really a good figure. I promise. It's not just a piece of plastic. Oh god. There was also a standard Sonic one, and I think it looks really good. Very accurate to the character. I just like the way it looks as a whole. I think the Superposers and the 10-inch figures always look fantastic no matter what. You can always debate me on that, but you know, I'm right here. But with figures, we still got one more thing left for 2009, baby. That's right, there was another wave of those 3-inch figures, baby! Wave 2 included Shadow, Silver, and Werehog, and they all look fantastic once again. Amazing detail, amazing sculpts, once again, amazing additions to the Jazwares Sonic the Hedgehog toy line. Now before we stop talking about 2009, there's one more thing we have to mention. Plushes. And I think that most of you who watch me know where I'm going to go with this. I am not a fan of Jazwares plushes at all. I'm not sure if anybody really is. Make sure to let me know in the comments and tell me why. They released Sonic, Shadow, and the Werehog in late 2009, and they're whatever, I guess. They all look pretty funny, and they're not super accurate. I prefer Tomy's much more, and I guess we'll see what modern JAKKS Pacific looks like, but yeah, these are not that fantastic, but it's always good to get plushes out there for people to buy. It's pretty harmless. As a whole, 2009 was a very solid year. It was innovative, if that's the right term to use, when it comes to Sonic toys. The first kind of Sonic toys to be used in a 3-inch scale, the development of the Superposers, amazing 5-inch figures, as well as 10-inch, and yeah, those. But the best was yet to come. 2010 was a really good year for the Sonic Jazwares toy line. Nothing really too crazy happened because 2009 was full of the brand new innovative stuff, but 2010 really improved upon it, making new and better versions of what came before and just adding on to what has worked. We did see some amazing stuff when it came to the 3-inch line. You had some amazing comic book packs. I would say this was the year of the comic book pack, having Sonic and a Metal Sonic release, Sonic and Amy, Vector and Espio, Sonic and Knuckles, and another Espio and Knuckles. Yeah, look at all of those comic book packs. It's kind of ridiculous. I think they're all fantastic, my favorites being the Vector and Espio because they're brand new figures and they come together in a very fitting comic book. Also, you can't go wrong with that Sonic and Metal Sonic and that Sonic and Amy one. They're kind of the same comic book pack, having the same Sonic in the same comic, but replacing either Amy or Metal Sonic. I should note that the Metal Sonic one was very short-lived, being discontinued to come with Amy, but don't worry about Metal Sonic because he went somewhere else. We'll get to him in a bit. But before we get to that, let's talk about the single card releases. Knuckles and Amy got single releases outside of comic books, which is fantastic, so you can buy them individually, as well as Metal Sonic, but also the poor guy was discontinued again for another release that we'll get to. This would be really cool to have. If anybody has this, I am extremely jealous of you because a single card Metal Sonic is probably the hardest one to find. The discontinued ones are obviously the rares, so if any of you guys have Metal Sonic and Super Shadow, give yourself a pat on the back. Yeah, Super Shadow only got a single card release because he's a repaint. Like I mentioned earlier, Super Shadow is the exact same as Shadow when it comes to sculpt. You just gotta repaint him yellow. Also, you got a single card release for this right here, a clear purple Espio. I recently got this in a merch haul and I really love it. I've always thought Espio was really cool. He's just really mysterious, kind of the Boba Fett of the Sonic universe. And I love the color that they chose to use. In terms of single cards, there was nothing too crazy. It was really just putting things that were either in comic books or box packs into single cards so you can buy them individually, which is cool. You're not just being restricted to get one thing. But you just heard me mention box packs, so what are those? Well, let's get into those. First one, we gotta talk about the Metal Sonic and Dr. Eggman pack because Metal Sonic finally got a home. Poor guy has been moving from comic book to single release and now he has his own box pack. It comes in a diorama of Eggman's lair and this is the best packaged Jazwares figure to date. Box is all decked out to look like it's under construction, bolts and construction tape, and it has its own Eggman design. Metal Sonic is contained in this capsule. It's just fantastic. It's amazingly packaged and I'd love to own it again just to keep in box. Now this next one I think is one of the most nostalgic Sonic the Hedgehog pieces of merchandise ever, that being the Super Pack. I have bought this thing numerous times for spare Chaos Emeralds, for better character designs, different colored Chaos Emeralds. It's just ridiculous. I love this thing. 3 figures, all the Chaos Emeralds. It just reminds me of Sonic 06. It's just perfect. But there was one more, that being a Big and Froggy. Very surprising. Really enjoyed this one. I recently bought this in a merch haul. Just like the others, amazing presentation. I just wish box packs were the standard because they're so fantastic. Around that time, a little game called Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing came out, so along with that, there was plenty of merchandise. They made Sonic in his Speedstar, Knuckles in his Landbreaker, Shadow on his Dark Rider, and Tails in his Tornado Racer. We also can't forget about the mini racers, which included Sonic, Amy, and Shadow, Ai Amigo, Knuckles, and a amazing 4-pack diorama that I still want because of the presentation. It's fantastic, and it's the only inclusion of Tails, Eggman, and Beat. These are really cool. I'm very nostalgic about them. But the last thing that came out was a Sonic Colors figure. It was a basic 5-inch Sonic figure with Sonic Colors packaging, and it included 2 Wisps. This is a pretty amazing figure, and I'm so glad that they included the Wisps. I don't know why they wouldn't. As a whole, 2010 was a really good year. It isn't the best year because that year is the next one. 2011 was hands down the best year ever for the Jazwares Sonic the Hedgehog toy line. 2011 was the year of Sonic the Hedgehog's 20th anniversary, so you know that they had to step it up. They released almost anything that you could have thought of. There was so much stuff, it took up an entire aisle at a Toys R Us. I am not joking. My first time going inside of a Toys R Us and seeing all of these toys, it took up an entire section. In Toys R Us's final years, you'd only find that for Star Wars or Marvel. But back in 2011, Sonic had his own aisle, baby. It spanned from the classic years to the modern years with all kinds of different products. It was fantastic, but what did they release? Well, let's take a look. Obviously, the Superposers were very successful. They sold well and were very well received, so they received re-releases of Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, and Tails. They came in the standard 20th anniversary packaging, which we won't mention that much because all the packaging is relatively the same. Also, the 5-inch Sonic the Hedgehog received a re-release being advertised as the 2011 Sonic, with a new remodeled Sonic coming shortly after. Now this is the stuff, baby. He looks so good and I really love this one. It looks much more accurate to how Sonic looked in Sonic Generations. I feel like this Sonic was based around models from Wii games, so he looked a little off. But it couldn't be a Sonic Generations 20th anniversary set without classic Sonic. The first one came out and he looked like this. He looks pretty great, right? Now the thing is the color is wrong. This is more of a modern Sonic blue, and they were advertising classic Sonic as a lighter blue. So this was later repainted to look like this. Now I've heard people like it both ways, and some people prefer the dark colors, but frankly, it's not that big of a difference for me. It's still an amazing figure and I'm so glad they made it. Along with that, might be my favorite thing that Jazwares has ever done. This It is a 2-pack of Classic Supersonic and Modern Supersonic. They had 12 points of articulation for Classic and 14 for Modern, and it was an exclusive to Toys R Us. I absolutely loved these, and it was just a hot toy period. Even people who weren't the biggest Sonic fans, I remember picking these guys up because they looked so cool. By far some of the best stuff that they've ever done. So it's pretty cool to see the 5-inchers getting back out into the market, but what about those 3-inch figures? It seems to just keep getting better. Well, it does keep getting better, because this might be the best thing that they've ever done in terms of a line. May I present to you Classic Sonic with a Moto Bug? Yes, Badnik figures. Oh, I'm not done yet. We still have Classic Tails and Grabber. Let's go ahead and do a little lightning round. Sonic in a Spinner from Sonic Adventure, Shadow and Mono Beetle from Sonic Adventure 2, Knuckles in an Egg Pond from Sonic Heroes, Silver and Iblis Biter from Sonic 06. Thank God that's there. Sonic 06 is the best Sonic game. Tails and Sandworm from Sonic Colors. I mean, look at that entire line. That's fantastic. I think this is by far some of the best stuff that any toy manufacturer has done for Sonic. Now, I know that I've praised JAKKS Pacific a lot in comparison to other toy lines, but this right here is the best Sonic packaging and the best presentation, period. Each character is displayed in front of their own respective game background. This is so amazing. I hope companies like JAKKS Pacific will do more stuff like this. But we're not done with 3-inch just yet. You have these. They're releases of Classic and Classic Supersonic with a collectible tin. Pretty cool additions. You can put things inside of the 20th anniversary tin. Nothing too much to write home about, but it's a really cool addition. Some extra Sonic merchandise to go home with you. But we can't not have comic book packs. Yes, comic book packs. Feast your eyes on one of my favorite packs being the glossy Shadow and Silver pack. This came with Sonic Universe number 25, and also another release that came with Sonic the Hedgehog issue 218. Also, you have the Sonic the Hedgehog and Amy Rose Classic pack, which had a variety of different issues. First, issue 226 and issue 229 of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Universe number 1. Pretty cool comic book packs. Nothing too crazy, but it's nice that they had the classic figures to get their own, and also Shadow and Silver got their own editions. There were also box packs of Dr. Eggman, one for both Modern and Classic. Modern Eggman came with the Egg Fighters on a Sonic Unleashed background, and the Classic Eggman was on a Sonic and Knuckles background with Egg Robos. This one was a Toys R Us exclusive, and these are so cool. Classic Eggman looks so fantastic, and is like perfectly sculpted. I just love this one to death. I wish I still had it, but I broke Eggman unfortunately because I played with him so much. But this has to be it. I mean, there's so much stuff. Well, no, that's not it. You have a classic set of Supersonic, Basic Sonic, Tails, and Amy. These are pretty cool and fit perfectly for your classic Sonic the Hedgehog fan. But what about Modern? Well, they really gave you something fantastic. A Knuckles, Shadow, Sonic, Tails, Silver, and Amy pack. That's ridiculously cool. This was a Toys R Us exclusive and is fantastic. I would do anything to have this pack. The 10 inches got released, another Modern Sonic got a re-release, and you can't go without the classic Sonic. And Jazwares returned to making plushes. There were releases of Sonic, Classic Tails, and Classic Knuckles, along with this 15-inch Classic Sonic, which I'm so nostalgic about and would love to have in box. Also respective Modern releases of Sonic and Tails. There was also the Sonic Generation statue that came out, which is pretty cool. It came with codes to unlock statues in the statue room, and it's pretty awesome. Also, there were these Sonic minifigure packs of Classic and Modern. The Classic one is actually re-released from first 4 figures. It's pretty cool that they came out with these in the United States. It includes Tails, Knuckles, Supersonic, Sonic, Amy, and Metal Sonic, and these are some of the most nostalgic Sonic toys out there. It's insane that they released all of this merchandise, and I'm so happy that there was a time in history when stuff like this was going on. 2011 was truly an amazing year, and I'll never forget it. So, every year just keeps getting better and better, so 2012 is that even better than 2011? No, it's not, and that kinda sucks. Imagine a year better than 2011. We might never see that again. But 2012 sure wasn't that year because it was probably one of the slowest years in Jazwares history. I'm sure they were very worn out and they did all the figures that they could think of, so they did a lot of game-specific stuff. First things first, they released Sonic Freeriders figures. Yes, Sonic Freeriders, the Kinect game from 2010. Figures of Sonic, Jet, Tails, Knuckles, Storm, and Wave all came out with extreme gear. They were pretty cool, and some of them are very hard to find. Knuckles in particular, he's very sought after and is very rare. Also later that year, we got these Sonic and the Black Knight figures, surprisingly. It's pretty cool that they were releasing stuff long after the game came out. You have Excalibur Sonic with Caliburn, and Sir Lancelot. Both had accessories and were just really well made figures. And that's all I can really talk about for 2012. Not a lot happened this year. All the other stuff that you might be questioning was really just repackaged stuff from 2011, without the 20th anniversary logo. Well, I guess we should move on then. Now, 2013 was really a year of re-establishment for the Sonic the Hedgehog Jazwares toy line. Now that the anniversary was over, it was time for them to just stay normal, find a consistent thing to do. So that's what they did. They had a brand new packaging style, which was a white and orange color wave, and it's okay, I guess. It's definitely my least favorite out of all of their packaging. It's definitely the most lazy. They had re-releases of the Superposers, including Sonic and Shadow. No Tails and Knuckles though. It's kind of surprising. And that year we saw brand new Superposers finally, and they did the unthinkable. They made a good Supersonic figure. Can you believe it? Yes, this figure made me so happy when I saw him in the store. At first I thought he was just another repainted Sonic, but no, they actually made him Supersonic. They put his quills up and everything. He looks fantastic. Also, finally, we got a Silver the Hedgehog Superposer. Now, I do not have this guy, but I really want him. I remember when he first came out, he wasn't that expensive, and I missed my chance to get him. Hopefully I can get him sometime in the future, because he's really cool. Now, the 5-inch figures were just kind of what the Superposers got. Repacked. Classic Sonic, the Super Pack, and Modern Sonic both got repackaged. But they did one more addition for that year, and that was this. A Classic Sonic with light-up Chaos Emeralds. I actually have this guy displayed in box, and it's pretty cool. They were actually planning to do other ones with modern characters, and I wish they got around to it. And I wish they got around to doing that, because that would have meant that we got 5-inch figures of Shadow, Knuckles, and Silver. That would have been really cool. Extra goodies are always nice. Now, the best thing that they did this year, in my opinion, were 3-inch figures. The line before this had Motobugs and Badniks and all that kind of stuff, but now that the anniversary is over, you can't really do that anymore. It'd just kind of be bland, and you'd be selling the same figure in a new packaging. Well, they knew that, so they gave you different accessories, and I'm so glad they did. There were 6 figures released, and all came with their own respective accessory. Sonic came with 2 rings, pretty boring, but you know, it's fine. Shadow came with Doom's Eye, which is really cool and absurd. Fun fact, he was originally supposed to come with a gun. I'm not lying, he was gonna come with a gun, but I guess Sega was like, hey guys, no. Tails comes with Miles Electric from Sonic Colors. Knuckles comes with the Master Emerald, of course. I wish it was actually a little bigger in comparison to the other Chaos Emeralds, but it's fine. Amy comes with her Pico Pico hammer, and Silver comes with a steel container from Sonic 06. Let's go! I actually really dig these figures. They come with new joints. They were just better manufactured because technology advanced since the first ones were released. Thankfully, we did get some new characters though. First being a comic book pack. Now this is the only comic book pack we got this year, but thankfully it's with a really awesome character, Blaze the Cat. Yes, she finally got a figure, and it was pretty cool finally getting a new character after so long. Now, it is kind of sleazy that they made you get an overpriced comic book pack just to get Blaze, but it's whatever. There were 3 releases of this comic book pack, one being Sonic Universe Issue 1, or Sonic the Hedgehog 218, or Sonic the Hedgehog Issue 229. I guess Archie wanted them to have specific issues to represent their comic, because these have all been used before. In terms of box packs, it was pretty light that year, but the box pack they did come with was fantastic. You remember this comic book pack of Vector and Espio? Pretty cool, right? Well, they took it up an extra notch. Not only did they have brand new Vector and Espio figures in a box pack, they came with Charmy. That's right, we finally got a Charmy figure, and to take it up an extra notch, each character came with accessories. Yes, a kunai, flower device, and a walkie-talkie. This is obviously inspired by the Sonic Heroes game, and it's fantastic. I would really love to get this pack again. I do have all of the figures and their accessories still, but I just love for this thing to be on display in the box. If you guys ever find this for cheap, definitely pick it up. It's really fantastic and might be one of the best box packs. But there was one more pack, and it was a classic pack, because there wasn't as much classic representation in 2013. You had Classic Sonic, Classic Super Sonic, Classic Tails, Classic Amy, Classic Metal Sonic, and a Motobug. Now there were these that were briefly released, but it was very brief. I don't know why these were around for such a small amount of time. Maybe they were just hard to produce, I don't know. But we also got a variety of plushes, that being Classic Amy and Classic Metal Sonic. There were these flocked minifigures of Sonic, Amy, Knuckles, and Shadow, probably one of the strangest things that Jazwares has done. And also the mini-morphs, including Sonic, Tails, and Metal Sonic. There was actually a Knuckles plan, but he got cancelled. It seems that Classic Knuckles is always cancelled. His 3-inch figure was cancelled as well, poor guy. Also, Jazwares had a roleplay. That's right, for all you you fans out there, they released a Sonic mask, a Shadow mask, and a ring. 2013 was a pretty good year. Yeah, there were a lot of repacks, but they did give you new figures and plushes and different kinds of items, and a briefly lived Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform line. This was actually a really good year. No 2011, but I'd say it's on par with 2010. So, next year, 2014, has to be better, right? Well, no, it's not. In 2014, it was announced that Jazwares would no longer have the license to Sonic the Hedgehog, which means they can't produce Sonic the Hedgehog merchandise. The only 2 products released that year were a 2-pack of Excalibur Sonic and Sir Lancelot, and a Sir Galahad. But, other than that, nothing. The line ended because Jazwares wanted to move on to other licensees, such as Minecraft, Roblox, and Fortnite, the most popular games in gaming right now. It sucks they didn't want to keep the Sonic license. It's unfortunate. It was such a great toy line, and it brought so much joy to so many people. It's still talked about to this day. Almost everyone I know loves it. We don't know if Sega would have kept the Jazwares license as the contract was running up, but it would have meant a lot if they did. Jazwares gave me my very first Sonic toy, and it's possible I wouldn't be a Sonic fan without Jazwares. They gave me such a variety of things to collect. They provided things for me to make memories with, and made things that could help me find myself. This channel was born in the final years of Jazwares, and some of the first videos were centered around their products. Yes, Jazwares was plagued with quality control issues, but Jazwares was more than that. They truly cared about the fans. They listened to fan feedback. They really gave us what we wanted. And yes, that all went to shit in the final year, but let's not look at the final year. Let's try to remember the years prior. Let's remember what they did for us, the Sonic community. I'll always love the Sonic the Hedgehog Jazwares toy line, and I'll never forget it. If you guys were Sonic the Hedgehog fans back in 2014, you would definitely remember the Sonic Boom side franchise. It's something that came as a shock to a lot of people. When that first teaser image released, I think the consensus was...
Seriously, what the frick, guys?
I think it's safe to say not everybody was too happy.
Don't call anybody.
Even with the release of Lost World, Sonic was in a really good place. Lost World wasn't a bad game. You had Sonic Generations, Sonic Colors, 2 amazing racing games. He was even doing really good on mobile. A lot of people didn't feel like there was a need for a reboot, and I was one of those people. But a lot of Sonic fans were actually very optimistic and were willing to see what was going to come. Sega was promising 2014 would be a Sonic Renaissance, the year of Sonic. And on February 6th, plenty of things were announced. A brand new TV show, brand new games, brand new designs for Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, and the announcement that Tomy would be the brand new master toy partner for Sonic. Plenty of Sonic the Hedgehog fans and collectors out there were so excited to see what Tomy would bring to the table after the highly received Jazwares toy line. It was a fresh start, new franchise, new master toy partner, new toy line. So, what released? Let's take a look. The biggest thing that Tomy did with their time with Sonic the Hedgehog were plushes. They consistently released a lot of high quality plushes, and it was on par if not more than the output of action figures and toys. The first things to release were the Sonic Boom 8-inch plush line. It included Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles. These are pretty good plushes. They're very accurate, they're very well stuffed and detailed. A lot of fans like these significantly more than the Jazwares releases just because Jazwares was that bad with plushes. These aren't the greatest Sonic plushes in the world. I don't think any master toy partner has really done that. So the plushes are really good, but what else did they come out with? Well, you can't have a real true toy line unless you have actual action figures, and Tomy made sure to take care of that. There were multiple different ways to obtain your favorite Sonic Boom characters. The first one I remember getting was this Sonic Boom launcher. It's actually one of the first real Sonic playsets. The launcher was designed to look like a tropical beach setting, with the removable Sonic figure going inside of the wheel. You launch it up and aim it for this Eggman standee. They didn't actually include a real Eggman figure, it's just a piece of plastic with an Eggman cutout, but it's it's still really cool. It's actually very similar to the Sonic movie launcher by JAKKS Pacific that only came out around 6 years later. But that's not it. Tomy also released 2 packs of Sonic Boom characters. The first one includes Sonic and Amy with their own Enter Beams. If you guys are wondering about these Enter Beams, don't worry. They were originally a big marketing push for Sega with Sonic Boom, but they eventually fell into obscurity as they had basically no function in either the show or merchandise. And there was also another pack that included Tails and Knuckles. I'm just gonna get it out of the way, these figures are alright. Once again, these are coming off of the Jazwares line, who had a lot of different articulation, and they just kind of looked a little better. Sure, these figures look more cohesive because they don't have as many joints, but at the same time, they're just kind of there. Is it a step down? Yes, but I wouldn't say that these figures are bad by any means. Now, what about some other characters? Now, the only way to obtain a character like Dr. Eggman were through these. These were Sonic Boom launchers. These were more gimmicky toys like the playset, and each character attaches to a different launcher that sends them flying. The line included Sonic, Knuckles, and Eggman, as you can see. Sonic being in a ball, Knuckles being on a hoverboardish thing, and Eggman being in his Eggmobile. This thing was awesome. Everybody was really excited about this figure, and it probably sold more than the other two just because of the Eggmobile. It was pretty cool, but unfortunately this line just lasted for this line. There were no other ripcord racer type things or anything like that, because later on down the line you were just able to get Eggman in a 2-pack with Metal Sonic. Now you might notice that I've been saying 2-packs a lot, and that was the main way that Tomy was getting their Sonic Boom figures out there. There weren't a bunch of single packs, but there were single packs. Only of a few characters though, those being Sonic, Knuckles, and Sticks. Yeah, you can only get Sticks in a single pack, probably because there were no other characters to really package her with, and this Sticks figure is very rare now. It's the only standard Sticks figure, not just the figure, but release. This is the only release of her, back in 2014. I have her, but I'm really kicking myself that I did take her out of the box. But hey, that should be made up with these. Instead of looking at the TV show and taking characters from the TV show and turning them into figures, they decided to take the pre-existing toys they already have, look at the TV show, and repaint them to certain things that happen to them in episodes. So having an oily Tails, an unlucky Knuckles, and a slimy Sticks. They all came paired with a Sonic figure, but the Knuckles one came with a dirty Sonic figure, so I guess you're getting something new too. A lot of people weren't the biggest fans of these. They felt that they could just make new characters, but they're fine, I guess. But back to 2014, they also released this playset, Sonic vs. Burnbot. This is pretty cool, even though I don't really think it's that much of a playset, but it's really just more of a Burnbot Sonic 2-pack. And to close out the mainline action figures, there was also the Orbot and Cubot 2-pack. But the final figure released that year wasn't a normal figure, it was the Sonic Boom running sound effects figure. I actually have this guy, and he's still in box. I highly doubt that all of his functions still work, and he'll run you a pretty penny nowadays. But Tomy didn't only release figures. There were more plushes than I mentioned before. They had 2 talking releases, one standard and one deluxe. The standard one just came with a couple phrases, but the deluxe came with even more phrases, different material, and a chili dog. As I mentioned earlier, Tomy did a lot of plushes, and they're really known for their plushes. I just really like these releases. I'd say the first year of Tomy's run was actually pretty decent. Compared to Jazwares' first year, yeah, it tops it very easily. There were a lot of things they were testing out like most Master Toy partners do, releasing multiple toy lines at the same time and seeing what sticks. I actually give this year a pretty big thumbs up. A lot of stuff came out at one time and it was pretty fun, but I can't say the same about 2015. I'd say 2015 was one of the darkest years in Sonic's history. Sega went through a giant restructuring, there was no game out that year. It was the first time that happened in its entire history. The only thing we got was a mobile game. So if there was one thing that we needed was a decent toy line to come out around that time, but Tomy released some bland stuff. The aforementioned battle damage figures, I guess you can call that, released, and yeah, they're just not that special. And not only that, but they had multiple different Sonic variants. They released a Sonic with sunglasses, a Sonic running, and also more single cards of Sonic, but this time with his teeth showing, an Eggman on a single card, and a Tails on a single card. But we did get some other characters. We got a 2-pack of Sonic and Shadow. Yes, Shadow was in Sonic Boom, as I'm sure many of you guys know, even though he's only in 1 or 2 episodes. Same with Metal Sonic, he was in there too, although briefly he also got figures, along with a Motobug and Crabmeat. But the repackagings didn't stop there. We also got these diorama figure sets, I guess you can call them. They had names to them like a TV title. This set being called Sonic Saves the Day, that included Sonic, Knuckles, and Eggman, and the other set being called Sonic to the Rescue, which had Sonic, Knuckles, and Metal Sonic, but this time with a metallic finish. plush. They weren't just figure packs, the main selling point was the fact that they had hero cards. They were basically trading cards with glossy Sonic characters on there. In terms of action figures, aside from this Sonic vs. Eggman figure pack, nothing else really released along those lines. But there were still other Sonic Boom figures released. There were these vinyl figures of Sonic, Knuckles, and Metal Sonic released, who were much larger and came with different material. Knuckles came on these skis with a goofy looking face. Metal Sonic was pretty much just a standard figure, which is probably why he's my favorite out of the bunch, and Sonic came on this hoverboard. They're nothing too crazy, but they're actually very well made. Too bad that's really it. I would have liked some more characters, they did something a little more extreme, but this year with plush, they decided to try something new. I present to you the Sonic Boom Big Head plushes. This was a strange little line that was very hot with the Sonic community back in this time. Included Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Dr. Eggman. These were stylized plushes, obviously you can see that, and I actually really like these things. They're really charming and well made, not to mention they're cute, and they're just something that we haven't really seen before. Aside from those vinyl figures, I'd say these are my favorite things to come out of that year. They just look so cute. That is really all we got that year, which is kind of underwhelming, but 2016 was a very pivotal year for Sonic the Hedgehog because it was his 25th anniversary. So what did we get? Well, let's take a look. The most notable event of 2016 was the fact that they finally branched away from Sonic Boom merchandise. Tomy exclusively made Sonic Boom merchandise, and a lot of fans were wondering when we would get things based off of the main series. And with the 25th anniversary heavily focusing on Classic Sonic, we got a brand new Classic Sonic toy line. There were a variety of different ways to obtain the figures. First one obviously being single cards of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and also the very first time Tomy took a crack at comic book packs. That's right, following in Jazwares' footsteps, they decided to release 2 packs of Knuckles and Sonic and Tails, both having correlating comic books to be associated with the characters, and the awesome silver packaging. There were even bios on the back of the box, they were just really cool. And also a 3-pack that had metallic finishes on the characters with gold coins. These figures weren't by no means as diverse as Jazwares' 20th anniversary toy line, but it was still a good set. Could they have dived into Classic Amy, Classic Eggman, Classic Metal Sonic, and a bunch of other classic-ish characters? Yeah, but with Tomy most likely knowing about Sonic Mania and the main characters in that, I see why they just stuck with these 3. But still, there could have been some more characters, but it was fine, because we also got plushes. They released an 8-inch plush set of Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman, all had this crushed velvet material and looked really great, and also this larger Classic Sonic plush that came in pretty standard plush material that they use on all their other Sonic Boom plushes. These were some of the best Sonic plushes to date. They looked great, and the fact that you could walk into stores like Toys R Us and buy these was pretty cool because of how great they looked. But just because it was 2016 and they were doing other stuff other than Boom doesn't mean they weren't doing anything Boom. In fact, there were a lot of Sonic Boom releases that year. Tomy really amped it up with the plushes because they released so many things. They released the next wave of 8-inch plushes, which included a brand new Sonic. Now you might be wondering, how is this different from this? Well, a thing that Tomy liked to do was just have a little grin instead. That counts as a different plush. A Styx plush, a Metal Sonic plush, a Shadow plush. This was actually a really good wave. In my opinion, they look miles better than the first wave, and I just love the characters that they chose. Yeah, having another Sonic with a grin is a little weird, but I mean, I still bought it, so I can't really be complaining. Not only that, but they continued their Big Head plushes with a Shadow, an Orbot, and an Amy. Now, both of these waves of plushes would be the final waves of these toy lines. There would be no more 8-inch plushes for Boom and no more Big Head plushes at all, aside from the slightly larger metallic Sonic Boom Big Head plush. It's a little sad that that was it, but the change of pace compared to the stuff we were getting year prior was good. The classic Sonic stuff definitely filled a hole where some other Sonic Boom merch was missing. It was a good year all around, but since the inception of Tomy running Sonic, there's always been that one statement: where's modern Sonic? People were excited for Boom, but once when it crashed and burned, nobody really wanted the toys anymore. And as much as people love classic Sonic, he started getting beat into the ground so much, getting shoved down our throats to where people didn't even want to buy him anymore, let alone look at him. They just wanted a return to form, because although there was some cool stuff that I just showed you, it was nothing compared to some of the stuff that Jazwares was doing. But luckily, they didn't have to wait too long. For 2017, it was revealed that Tomy would finally be doing modern Sonic figures and plushes. The Sonic collecting community rejoiced as we were finally getting modern Sonic figures again. It was so long since that happened. Last time you were really able to go inside of a store and find modern Sonic figures on standard retail shelves like Toys R Us or Target was around 2013 to 14. So what did we get? Well, some pretty cool stuff. The first comic packs to release were of Sonic and Knuckles, each coming with their modern and classic counterparts, and what came with them were Archie comics. Now here's the thing, around this time, Archie was cancelled. In 2017, there were no Archie comics, so of course you're gonna run into issues there. Fortunately, they were in production early enough to be released on time with all of their Archie comics, but there was also Tails and Metal Sonic packs that were announced that unfortunately had to be delayed almost an entire year because of the Archie comics getting cancelled. Overall, the figures looked really good. They were by far the best figures that Tomy ever made with any of the different versions of Sonic. It's just a shame it took so long to get there. But what about the other modern stuff? Well, let's take a look at that. The plushes looked really good. By far the best plushes that Tomy ever put out at the time. Wave 1 included modern Sonic and modern Metal Sonic, and also classic Sonic and classic Tails. Wave 2 included classic Sonic Laughing, classic Knuckles, modern Shadow, and modern Tails. Unfortunately this time I wasn't doing YouTube as much, so I didn't have as much money, so unfortunately my window passed on these guys, but I'd still love to have them. We can't forget about the classic figures though, but unfortunately Tomy took the cheap route with these guys. All they did was make 2 3-packs, one being standard Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails with these rings, and then these obnoxiously hideous versions of them pixelated. Not to mention the other atrocities they made with these ugly translucent figures and the abysmal black and white versions of them. I don't know whose idea it was to make these. The fact that Sega approved of these and the fact that Tomy was like, yeah, these are good to make, just kind of baffles me. They're by far some of my least favorite Sonic products in the entire history of the franchise. The fact that these were made in 2017 just says a lot, which explains why I bought them. But we can't forget about Sonic Boom. With the obvious shift in Tomy's direction with Sonic the Hedgehog, that year was very light in terms of Sonic Boom. Here are the things we got. They released emoji keychain figures. That's right, keychains of Sonic and Knuckles emoji characters. They're not like horrible, they look like emojis. We did get some normal figures that year. We did get a 3-pack of Sonic, Shadow, and Eggman in metallic form. And I guess you can say the only new figures we got that year were Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails spacesuit figures. We got a multi-pack of Sonic, Amy, Knuckles, Tails, and Eggman, which is cool and it was actually decently priced. But once again, no sticks. I don't know why Tomy just kind of dropped her. And also the Blue Force 1. So yeah, the figures this year were pretty disappointing. Now, I can't get too upset at them because this was the final year of Sonic Boom. It made sense that they started reaching the bottom of the barrel. But what about plushes? Well, as I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, they completely dropped the 8-inch wave and the Big Head plush wave. Instead, they decided to make emoji plushes. Now granted, these are really cute, but definitely not anything I was gonna buy, and in fact, in a merch hunt, I passed on these guys, and I don't think they sold too well either. Despite the release of modern merchandise, I'm actually very mixed on this year. I really enjoyed the modern figures and plushes, but their classic wave was extremely lacking, only releasing variants. Not like good variants, just cheap variants that don't look good. And aside from the spacesuit figures and the Blue Force 1 maybe, everything else Sonic Boom was not great. Although this year was fine, they definitely could improve, and the next year, they did improve. Tomy unveiled their 2018 Sonic the Hedgehog releases, and the internet was ecstatic. There were so many amazing, cool, different figures and plushes coming out, and it was by far their best year to date. One of my favorite things that Tomy did was that they didn't cancel the Tails and Metal Sonic packs. No, they actually released them with their own exclusive comic books. Most of them came out great. Not this Tails, he looks really ugly, but it's still so great that they released. All of the Chow fans rejoiced when this was revealed. A 3-pack of Sonic, Knuckles, Tails with 3 different Chows. It's not every day that you see Chow merchandise, so this was a moment for all of us to be excited about. I remember picking this up in a merch hunt, and I don't plan on opening this because this was not only a special moment being out with my friends looking for Sonic merch, But it's not every day that we're gonna see something like this. Something that came as a shock to a lot of people was that we were finally getting figures of Zavik and Infinite. This was coming off the release of Sonic Forces, so it's not as weird as it would be getting an Infinite figure now, but it's still a really cool pack as we didn't have figures of any of these guys, and both figures turned out really good. As much as I hate Zavik, that figure looks just like Zavik. And their greatest release that year was the ultimate classic Sonic the Hedgehog figure. This is the closest thing resembling the Nendroid that we got since the Nendroid, and a lot of people, including myself, think it's actually better than an Nendroid. You can swap out hands, faces. It's just so amazing. There are accessories, there's an amazing stand. A lot of us didn't expect Tomy would do something like this, but they did, and it turned out amazing. This wasn't only a good year for figures, it was an even better year for plush. They released 2 sets that year. The first one being a Sonic variant, Dr. Eggman, Amy, Classic Supersonic, the first one since the Sonic the Fighters plush, Vector, and a Chow. Not only that, but later in the year, there was also that same Sonic variant, Silver, a Tails variant, Knuckles, a Shadow variant, and Classic Dr. Eggman. But that wasn't it. Tomy also had larger plush releases, those being Modern Knuckles, Shadow, Modern Supersonic, and Dark Chow. Yes, a Dark Chow plush. I think that this was the peak of Tomy. All of these products released the same year, and they released relatively on time. They looked great, they felt great, they just were great, they were amazing. This is what we were waiting for. Tomy was getting it, but it wasn't just that. Sonic Boom was still having their products released. Yes, even though 2017 saw the end of Sonic Boom, the television series, the toy line still went on for a little bit. Now, it wasn't as much as you might think. The only things that we ended up getting were a 3-pack of Green Eggman with Orbot and Cubot metallic versions, and emoji plushes of Angry Shadow, Angry Dr. Eggman, and Happy Sonic. This might sound like very little to a lot of you, and yes, it's because there was supposed to be more. In terms of Sonic Boom, there were only plans for re-releases and repaints. Another repaint of Dr. Eggman, another Sonic repaint along with all of his friends in soccer outfits, but those never came out. And it doesn't stop there. The Collector Series was supposed to have much more. What if I told you that we were going to get single releases of Sonic, Knuckles, Modern Supersonic, Shadow, and 2 packs of Classic and Modern Amy and Classic and Modern Eggman. Both were supposed to come with metal-plated cards of custom art, and also a surprise silver release. These didn't release, but if they didn't have enough time to work on them, they could just delay them and release them the following year, right? Well, no. I've been avoiding this issue the entire history video, but Tomy was horrible with delays in releases. Every catalog, they'd promise an item to come out a specific date, like let's say something was supposed to come out in February or April, and it just ended up coming out in October or November. That happened most of the time. It was frustrating for fans, and I'm guessing it was frustrating for Sega because they didn't choose to continue with Tomy, and I'm guessing it was a mutual agreement as well because Tomy recently has been skewing very young. Yes, this was the final year of Tomy. There was no time to release those figures any other time. We will never get those toys from Tomy. We knew something was up when those products just didn't come out. It became evident in February when it was announced that JAKKS Pacific would become the new master toy partner for Sonic the Hedgehog. It sucks because they were coming off their best year yet. They improved a lot, especially with the time that they were given, because Tomy was dealt a bad hand. During 2014 through 2015, they exclusively made Sonic Boom merchandise, and even in 2016, it was still majority Sonic Boom merchandise, even if there was classic stuff. They didn't get to start making the stuff that I'm guessing they wanted to make until the very end of their run. Tomy had the potential to be the greatest Sonic Master Toy partner of all time, but unfortunately Sonic Boom hurt that. Tomy had their ups and their downs. I really enjoy a lot of what Tomy did, but I think it was a smart decision for Tomy and Sega to move on. Sonic has found a new home with JAKKS Pacific. We're currently in our 2nd year with some awesome stuff being promised, but even though we're moving on, I will always look back at Tomy and thank them for what they gave us. They gave us some great toys. I had a lot of great experiences because of Tomy. It wasn't a perfect run, but it was a damn good one. Thanks, Tomy, for everything. So where are we right now? We are currently in a JAKKS Pacific era, and I don't really want to break down its history right now. It's still going strong. In fact, their license just got renewed. which is the first time that's happened in Sonic Master Toy Partner history. Clearly things have been going good over there, and we are living in this era, so I think you guys know how good things are going. Like, look, this thing just came out. I'm so proud of them, and they are on their way to top Jazwares as the best Sonic Master Toy Partner. Also, they're on their way to becoming the longest running too. When JAKKS Pacific is done, which I really hope they never are, I'll make sure to do a history video on them. But for right now, they're going very strong, and Sonic merchandise and Sonic toy lines has never been in a better place, and that's so cool to say. This video doesn't have to end off on a sad note like a lot of these. It can actually end off pretty happy because we're in a great place right now. There's never been a better time to be a Sonic fan, and there's never been a better time to be a Sonic the Hedgehog collector. If you love Sonic the Hedgehog and you just want to express your love for the franchise, and you want to collect merchandise, go do it. If you have the financial means to do so, of course. Don't let anybody discourage you. Don't let anybody tell you that you're too old or that it's not cool enough. You determine for yourself what's cool. Do what's fun. Do what makes you happy. Sonic collecting has done that for me, and look where I am right now. I'm in a pretty good place, I think. I adore this franchise, obviously, and I adore the merchandise, and I'm so excited to see where it goes in the future.
Tell me you wanted some more, tell me